So this is it. This is the mind eraser, and do a quick run through of what is in this.
We have Kahlua, we have vodka, and we top it off with club soda in a layered drink, which again reminds me of Sequoia and both her earthy notes and her desire to probably not really be so prophetic.
Cheers.
Cheers.
On your website, do you talk about dragons in Atlantis?
A little bit, yes, I do. I question the existence of them. You know, in essence, I really don't question the existence of them at all. I fully believe that they existed. And Atlantis is a city that's missing somewhere in the ocean. Where it is, nobody knows, but they have speculated that it may be off the coast of, in the Bahamas. It may be in the Bahamas. And there's the tongue of the ocean, which is a very deep trench there. And it's probably in that trench. And so the Atlantis in my story, that's where it is.
Okay. That's another thing that, you know how we end up going down these rabbit holes. And I did end up reading things about Atlantis. And what really fascinated me, because I've never been a believer in Atlantis, it's a great story, that's it. But one of these videos I was listening to said this dates all the way back to, I believe it was Plato.
Yes.
And it's a story that Plato heard from, like, I think it had come down through his family for like 400 years, but they know exactly who told him this story. They knew exactly which ancestor and where the ancestor got the story from. And when they did the math, that this ancestor was told, I think by someone in Egypt, maybe, he asked, well, when did this, island suddenly disappear? And they gave him an exact number, 9,200 years ago or whatever it was. And when they compared that number with other dates and years, it all matched up.
Sure.
And I was amazed. I've never heard that.
Oh, there is a history long before the history that we know, of this planet. And they're discovering they're digging up so many ancient cities and ancient relics that they haven't really no explanation for. A lot of biblical, a lot of things that are mentioned in the Bible, a lot of cities and things that are mentioned in the Bible, they completely dismissed and said, we've never seen any evidence of it. They're finding the evidence now.
This is a very neat drink when you wrote about this island of Corfu off of Greece. And I was inspired to think of a drink which happens to be called Summer on Corfu, which is a very Greek cocktail. So you can imagine sitting in a cafe drinking all of the flavors you're about to hear go into this drink, where all of them blend together in exactly some of the characteristics that you describe, an extravagant expression of unmerited love and generosity, a trip that's magical. And I think when we drink this drink, you're not going to taste the rum, you're not going to taste each of the fruit juices that's in it, or even the bitters, but all of them together make what I would consider a very ancient and very pleasing taste. So I'll make it for you now.
Ooh, the mystery ingredient. This is like Iron Chef. That doesn't look very interesting. What is this we have here?
What we have here is egg white, which with a dry shake in the drink, which means that you shake the ingredients either with or without the egg white. In this case, it's with. You shake it on ice for 30 seconds and it produces a wonderful foam, which is a very nice, smooth, sweet addition to the drink. So this has a fair number of ingredients, which we will have some fun with. We're going to start with two different kinds of rum, a light or white rum, and then a gold rum. These rum is, of course, derived from sugar cane. And the characteristics of it, you essentially have more or less of part of the deep sugar taste in it. And so you've also perhaps heard of dark rums or spiced rums, and they'll have even more depth and characteristic to them. Then we do a kumquat liqueur. Kumquat is a flavor that is a bit like a cross between orange and some other flavors. This is incredibly difficult to get, so I'm going to use triple sec as a substitute because of its kind of orangey background. Then we use some grapefruit juice.
And I will tell you, when I heard the recipe for this, it did not sound appealing because I do not like grapefruit juice.
And then pineapple juice as well. Then we put in a few dashes of Angostura bitters. And then we put in our egg white. And the first thing we do is to shake it without the ice in order to emulsify the egg.
30 seconds.
This part actually doesn't need to be 30 seconds, but the next part does. Then we put the ice in, and this is what's the dry shake. And when you shake an egg white with ice, it can get kind of powerful, so you really want to keep a close hold on it, or you will have egg white everywhere. And what you will see here is a very blended drink where the egg white foam rises to the top, producing that wonderful kind of smooth, creamy texture to the drink.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that the neatest thing?
So beautiful. Now I'm thirsty. I want one.
Well, you
Give me
have
one.
the recipe, so cheers.
Cheers.
This is really nice. I strongly advise everybody to try this at home. Kids, try this at home if you're over 21. So, just in case any of our 7.1 million listeners are wondering where Michael is, he is on a brief sabbatical still. He's just, life has gotten very busy. But we have our new Books and Brews mug that you can order from Zazzle. And I did want to ask you, what languages do you speak?
Spanish, German, Italian, English, and glossolalian,
Glossolalian, which is?
which is speaking in tongues.
Really?
Mhm.
I never heard that word for it.
Well, when I mentioned that to one person, he says, he thought for a minute and he says, "Oh yeah, I think I've been to that island."
I
Glossolalia.
I